Hey, it's Jared. In this video, I'm going to talk about my experiences with FluentCommunity. Now, I've been using several of the Fluent plugins, and they're fantastic. And I decided to check out FluentCommunity because I'd been using Fluent CRM, and it had been working out well. And I have a course website. The experience for my students in the community was not the best. And because of that, nobody was really using it. But when I saw FluentCommunity, and I really discovered it because they're using their own tool for support and community around their own plugins. And I thought, man, this is working out really well. Other people were sharing their experiences, and I thought, I got to try it out. So we're going to take a look at FluentCommunity, what it is, some of the features, how to configure it. I'm going to talk about it from the perspective of a person who has a course website where I have a variety of courses, and I want to provide a community for students of those courses to communicate. There are other tools that you can do this with. For example, you could use Discord, and I've looked at using Discord. However, Discord is another piece of software people have to download and sign into. Unless they are maybe into gaming, they might not be familiar with Discord or want to download an additional tool just to communicate with me, the instructor of the courses, or with other students. Then there are other tools like Circle, but for many of us, the cost of running one of those communities and making that available to all of our students is a bit high. Unless you have a subscription model where you're charging for community access, it can be kind of expensive to allow all of your students access to the community. And I wanted it to be widely available. I wanted more users than I wanted paid subscribers. And I may change some things in the future, but Circle was not going to be an option for me. And I'd also used some other tools and had some limited success with those, but also was always running into issues with complexity of configuration and stuff like that. So let's take a look here at FluentCommunity. This is my FluentCommunity, and you can see that I have a getting started section over here on the left-hand side with a start here. And this is a locked channel essentially, or category, where I have some rules posted and welcoming to the community. And so this is where people start to get information about what the community is and what the rules are. I have a say hello section where people can introduce themselves. I have an announcement section, which is also locked, where I can post updates, and I'm going to begin posting updates to this section soon. I then have a support area for people to post issues or questions that they have using my site. And so this is going to be great because a lot of times people have a simple question that could have been answered by somebody else, or it might have already been answered by me or somebody else. And so the support area will be useful, especially during those times when I launch new courses and people are having issues with something like viewing a video on a specific browser or something like that. I'll be able to have people post their support questions in here. I then have specific course groups, and all of these course groups are individually linked up to one of my courses. And my course website is WordPress. I use LearnDash for the LMS, and I also am using WooCommerce for the checkout process. And so when somebody signs up for one of my courses and is enrolled in one of my courses, then they get access to the appropriate course group. I have access to all of them because I'm the admin, but a new student that, say, signed up for one of my courses, like my Ultimate Apple Productivity course, would have access to just that section in the course groups and would not have access to other course groups. So as they purchased new courses or signed up for additional courses, they would then unlock those additional channels in the community. And then I have some direct links to my YouTube channel down here. What this has is essentially a home feed, and so I can go and view the feed, and the feed is going to show any access to posts that I have in whatever channel that they're in. So whatever course group is posted to is going to show up over here. And you can see there's one student that posted some photos. These show up to me because I have access to that particular course group. His photos would not show up to other people who did not have access to that course group. So it's great because you're only seeing stuff in the feed that's relevant to the courses that you have signed up for. So it's a great way to use FluentCommunity in conjunction with online courses. I could then go and view all the spaces that I have access to, which is what these groups are called over here on the left-hand side. They're called spaces. And so you can see I have all of these spaces here. Many of them have a thumbnail image and a description and all of that good stuff. And so I could view all of those. There's also the ability with FluentCommunity to have your courses as part of the Fluent community as well. And you could sell courses within FluentCommunity. I'm not using it for that. And so where there's usually a courses link that would take you to courses that you have built within FluentCommunity, I have that going to my typical courses page. So I just overrode that link and have it linking to my typical courses page, where I'm not yet utilizing, and I don't know if I will utilize, the courses feature of FluentCommunity. But FluentCommunity is kind of an all-in-one tool for you to put your courses, whether they're free or paid, and have people get access to those through signing up, and then also giving them access to course groups or spaces so that there can be communication and community around your courses and your content. I also have a members section where we could see all of the members, and it shows they've uploaded an image. It shows their latest activity and all of that good stuff. And I can also search members and see who are active and who are blocked, because you could block members as well. Then there's the leaderboard. The leaderboard is where it shows people who are most active in the community. And this is something that's kind of just getting going as I'm relaunching my community. People are starting to jump in and kind of poke around. As you post more and reply more and stuff like that, you start to level up. And so the leaderboard encourages people to be more active in the community. Then you also have a light and a dark mode, which is great. You have global search for the entire community. You've got notifications here for all notifications, notifications of just you being mentioned. And then also, if you followed a thread that was posted, those would show up here as well. And then over on the right-hand side, I have the ability to view my own community profile, which I've got a header background here. I've got my thumbnail. I've got a description. This is all stuff that I can edit and add my social media links. And then because I'm the admin, I can also see the CRM profile because I have Fluent CRM installed, and it's going to show me how many emails this particular person has received, how many they've opened, their clicks, which lists they're subscribed to, and all that good stuff right from the individual's profile. And then I've added a My Account link here, which you can add custom links in here. And that My Account link will allow people to jump to their account on my site where they can see their purchase history, the courses that they've subscribed to, and other relevant information. I also have My Spaces. And so there's spaces up here which show all available site spaces, and then My Spaces would show just the spaces I have access to. There's also bookmarks, because I could bookmark a post. So if I saw a post on the feed, I could bookmark it right here, and it would create and add a bookmark to my list. So as I come across different topics that people are talking about, I can add them to my bookmarks to find them more easily again. So let's actually look at the back end, because the back end is pretty fascinating and easy to use as well. If we go to settings, we have the back end of FluentCommunity. And you'll notice that this is separate from WordPress. Although this is a WordPress plugin and it's connected to WordPress, it kind of exists in its own world aside from WordPress. And what's great about that is that all of this activity is taking place in its own database tables. It's not integrated into the WordPress database. And because things are done that way, if the community was seeing heavy use, it wouldn't affect the load speed of your website, of course, unless you were running on an extremely slow hosting platform. If you are on slow hosting, nothing can save you, but it wouldn't be due to the database being bogged down. So everything is separate here. Under general, I can customize the name of the community, add logos, and change different pieces of information that have to do with the configuration, like its location and redirect after login and all of that good stuff. We've got some customizations as far as how things respond in the user interface and colors. We've custom CSS and some custom JavaScript as well. I can assign managers. And so if you want to add managers and moderators and stuff like that to your site, you can easily do that by clicking Add Manager and then click in here to add an existing WordPress user as a moderator or a manager. And you can give them full access, just be a space moderator. They can be an admin to a course, or they can even be a course creator, which would give them the ability to create their own courses within FluentCommunity. Under email settings, we can set up the emails that people get as they interact with FluentCommunity. Under features and add-ons, we can enable or disable specific things. Like if you don't want the leaderboard, you can disable that. User badges, all of this stuff, you could disable or enable on a per need basis. And then there's also integration with a bunch of the other Fluent plugins as well. And then there's topics and space groups. Let's look at space groups first. You'll see the structure of my community and all of the different spaces that are here. And then topics are discussion topics underneath any of those groups. And so, for example, general discussion, this is a topic that's going to be available in pretty much all of those groups. Because when somebody posts something to one of those groups, I want them to choose a topic so that we can keep things organized. And so if you wanted to sort by topic in the community, you can do that easily. And so I have a variety of those here, like general discussion, how to, show your work, support. And as you're on the front end of the site and you're making a post, you file away your post into a specific topic. And then we have our menu settings. For organizing our menu, we have the top bar menu, we have the sidebar menu, and then we also have our user menu over here, and you can add links and customize what's shown up in those sections. You have your content moderation section, which is where you would manage posts that might potentially be flagged, and you can flag them or flat out unpublish them in this section. We have our privacy settings, which is overall site privacy and what we allow our users to do and change. And then we have access management. This is where you are able to give access to people based off of what they've done on your site. So for example, I can enable access management with Fluent CRM. If I have Fluent CRM installed, then when anybody is tagged with a specific tag, they get access to a specific group or space group on the site. So as you can see for Ditch Auto, this photography course, this tag, which is Student Ditch Auto, when somebody has that tag applied to their account, then they're also given access to that course community group. So let me walk you through how that works. When somebody goes onto my website and they purchase a course, they are enrolled in a course in LearnDash. When that purchase takes place, they're automatically tagged in Fluent CRM as a student of the Ditch Auto course. Now that they have that tag assigned to them, that tag could be used to do many things. First of all, it can trigger an email sequence, like a welcome email sequence, welcoming them to the course, giving them some tips on getting started and checking in with them over the course of the first week that they are a student of that course. But another thing that it can do is also immediately give them access to a Fluent community group. And so I have it configured in that way where the Fluent CRM tag for all of these courses are going to give them specific access to a space group in FluentCommunity. Now, it also supports incoming webhooks, and so if you wanted to connect this to something else, maybe you're using some other sort of payment service or configuration, you can use a webhook to trigger and give access to specific groups. There's all sorts of different things that you can do in here as far as connecting webhooks. For example, adding people to specific spaces or removing them based on webhook activity, or even adding them to a course or removing them from a course if you're using courses from within FluentCommunity. That's why you don't see any courses for me here, because I'm not using that option yet. But I could be using webhooks, and webhooks work with a lot of things, including Zapier. If I wanted to connect students to my community from some other service altogether, perhaps you're using Kajabi, Teachable, Podia, any of those other hosted LMS platforms, you could give them access to your community through using webhooks. Now, if you're using BuddyBoss, which is what I was using beforehand, you could actually migrate your data from BuddyBoss groups into this site. Now, I did run into a few issues with that, with photo syncing and the photos actually working. And so because I have photography classes, a lot of people are uploading photos and the photos weren't originally connecting, but I've since kind of figured out a workaround for that. And I think they've fixed that problem in a software update, so it's not so much of an issue anymore. Now, course management is another area of FluentCommunity. This is where you would create a video or audio or content course that you can make available. You just simply give it a title, description, choose a group that it's going to go under in the menu because your courses will show up in the menu as well. What type of enrollment is it? Self-pay, structured, or scheduled, which is more of like a dripped course where you might get one course module or section a week or over a specific period of time. Then we also have the ability to give it a thumbnail and then create the course. And then if we had proper integration, we can also charge for those courses as well. We then also have analytics so that we can see the traffic and everything that's taking place on our site, including our membership, posts, comments, spaces, and all of that stuff. And we can see all of this analytics. And having built-in analytics is great because we can see how active our course community is, or in my case, course community, and see what kind of growth we have over time. So pricing on this is actually pretty good. I mean, $199 right now for one domain for a lifetime license. As you can see, you can go annual, but you're not going to save any money because right now they have a lifetime deal going on. So $199 for a lifetime deal, $399 for a 5-site license. I think this is a really good deal. I ended up securing a 15-site license because I know that I'm using it on my site. I have a few other clients who I'm working through, kind of talking them into providing this type of customer engagement. And I think it's going to be a great option for them. So I wanted to have extra site licenses for that. This is going away though. This lifetime pricing is going to jump substantially. It's going to be at $399, and then the annual is going to be at $199. And so lock yourself into a lifetime license by purchasing right now. I've got links down in the description below. If you use my link in the description, then I'll know that you went there and checked it out. And if you have any questions about FluentCommunity, ask away down in the comment section below. I have some free courses on my website. And so if you jump over to my website, I have some really beginner WordPress courses if you're interested, and I have some photography courses as well. Some of my courses are free also, so if you jump into one of those free courses, you'll immediately get access to the FluentCommunity space, and you'll be able to jump around and just take a look at my FluentCommunity setup. Also see how I'm using Fluent CRM because you'll get a welcome email from me, all of that good stuff. So ultimately, what I'm building here is an all-in-one solution for my course education, for email marketing and marketing automation, and then also for the engagement of my students within the course community. And I'm able to do all of that from within WordPress. And so if you're interested in learning more about how to build out something like that for yourself, there's another link down in the description for you as well to check out. And if you click on that link, put in your name and your email address, it'll let me know to give you an update as soon as I have more content available for that. Because subscriptions are expensive. Paying for these hosted platforms are expensive. And especially if you want to do email marketing, you want to do all of these other neat features, it's going to end up costing you a lot of money. And when you're starting out, you need to keep things inexpensive. And that's what I'm able to do with my website being all self-hosted in WordPress using plugins like FluentCommunity and Fluent CRM. It keeps my costs down and keeps the customer experience up. So check out those links in the description below. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you back in another one soon. Take care.